Anas, for welcoming me and speaking, or welcoming me to speak today. Thank you, Debbie. Beautiful food here at KPMG. Thank you, Dustin. The Rebellious Unicorns. What a great name for organizing, and of course for everyone to be here. So as Anas mentioned, my name is Jenica Frisque, and I work at UBC at the Okanagan campus doing work in the Equity and Inclusion office. And I guess the work that we do is around outreach and education to end discrimination, harassment, and to foster inclusion. But what does that look like? So the hope today is just to give you a bit of some tips or some of the advice that we give to groups. And usually I speak to like very straight group, and like, oh, I didn't know. I'm sure you already got this all, and you know, and like, yes, I should have brought my colleague from down the hall. They should be here. They might not be here, but hopefully you get some tips that maybe you can bring back to your spaces to share with your colleagues. Let me begin. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're on the unceded territory of the Okanagan First Nations, the ancestral and unceded traditional territory of the Silk people. And those of us who are not Indigenous and are guests on this land and are, I guess, always appreciative of the original stewards of this land, this beautiful land. So my mom sometimes asks me, so did you end racism at work today? No, not yet, not yet, Mom. Still working on it. And I guess we can just, look at the report from the Missing and Murdered Women Inquiry that came out on Monday that, calls the violence against women and girls and Two-Spirit Indigenous people nothing short of cultural genocide. And so it won't be me at work, a white cis woman, talking about doing territory acknowledgements that's going to change the state of Canada. It's going to be every single one of us, and not just doing the work during Pride Week, not just changing our storefront for June, but it's the everyday interactions that we have, and also, of course, about the policies. And I looked on KPMG website, and there's all the right language around diversity and inclusion. I've heard great things from us, but it's also the day-to-day. And so how do we start, and how can I explain in the next 2 or 3 minutes that I have left? So these are some tips, and I think it all comes down to this beautiful story you may have heard before about the hummingbird, that the forest is on fire and all the animals are running away, and the hummingbird says, I'm just going to do my part, and gets a drop of water from the stream and brings it to the fire, and all the other animals say, oh, what are you doing, hummingbird? What a waste. And they say, well, I'm doing what I can. So I think each of us have, maybe it's just a little drop, and we know from the fires here, it's just a drop won't change it, but at least we can do our part. So the 5 things: read up, step up, speak up. Sounds like a children's dance. But listen and making space. So reading up, I think that people who are diverse or historically, traditionally marginalized, they're tired of explaining and having to explain and to speak on behalf, or expected to speak on behalf of entire groups. So if you don't know something, read up. We have the internet in our pockets. Luckily, if you have a dress with pockets.
That's our next platform.
Yeah. Look it up, right? I had a student said, I am pansexual or asexual biromantic. Like, oh, I haven't heard that one yet. I'll look it up. Instead of asking them to explain to me. Or even this week was Eid, the end of Ramadan. What's that? Look it up, rather than having to ask the Muslim colleagues again and again to explain. So we can be curious about people who are different than us, but not always expecting them to speak about it all. So reading up, and then step up. Once we've done our homework, we know a bit more. We need to take action and show to bring up the issues of inclusion at work. And so it's not, again, just those people who are marginalized or excluded that have to do that work. what about me, what about me? So that might be bringing something up in a boardroom or in a meeting around accessibility or pronouns or names. And it might just be interrupting in the staff room. Maybe you have a new colleague and say, oh, hey, do you have a boyfriend? Someone might say, or a girlfriend, or a sweetheart, or just a friend. And so changing I guess creating space just with the words that we use and to, crush the heteropatriarchy. little by little, with my daughter is 2, and our neighbor has a son, and she always says, oh, cute, boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm like, oh no, she's a lesbian, like. I'm like, well, how do you know? Like, well, how do you know your son is straight? And I just think it's like those little interruptions, and with humor, that you can go a long way. So reading up, stepping up, and then speaking up. How many of you have been in a situation where you've heard a racist comment, or homophobic comment, or transphobic comment, or you've heard someone be misgendered, and you didn't know what to do?
Don't tell me.
Yeah. So many, and for me, almost every single day on the bus in Kelowna, I hear something, and I sometimes am just, tired. But we need to, if you're going to, be an LGBTQ ally, that's part of it, is speaking up. And you might not know, the history of homophobia and transphobia. You might not have all the right language, but you can just ask, excuse me, what was that? Or can you repeat what you said? And someone says, oh, the traffic was gay this morning. It's like, that's fabulous. But just ask me, like, what do you mean by that? Just ask him, really? What did you say? You don't have to have all the right things, but you can just ask, excuse me, can you repeat what you said? Usually people hear themselves the second time, they get it. And then, of course, listening. So it's easy to get the sticker, get the flag, have all the right, not easy, but maybe you have the right language, but also to listen. So if people are coming to you and sharing their stories, they've had a problem or pain, we don't need to all be counselors, neither are counselors here, but to just give space to listen. And even within queer communities, there can be people who feel left out or feel oppressed or feel that they're not included, and so to really make space to listen, and then of course to make space and to center the voices of those who have been excluded or who are new or who are diverse, minorities. It's about making space, and so that might be, if you're someone who likes to talk and to give your opinion, just count to 5. If there's a question, at the boardroom or in the office, and just wait. Maybe someone else also has an idea. So making space. One of my favorite quotes is that diversity is being invited to the party, and inclusion is being asked to dance. And I think, if you look at UBC's photos, everyone is glossy. There's a brown guy, a black woman, a person in a wheelchair, has all the right things, glossy images, diversity, all about diversity. But what about inclusion? And it can be, just another word on our flyers, but it really has to do with those everyday interactions. And so with this, the last thing around making space, I just want to give the word back to you to introduce Tor, who's a great advocate in the community, activist, can't wait to hear